Hi everyone, welcome back to Level Up with Dawn. Today we're going to be doing a video on my property journey. I thought it would be a good time to document this because there's a lot of things that's going to be happening soon, and I'll be doing more videos on that as we go along. But I think just to put a stick down in the ground as to where I've been and where I'm at this point right now. So, okay, let me give you guys some background in terms of where I've come from, where my family kind of like comes from, right? So, I grew up in I guess you'd say like a middle class household. We were comfortable, school fees were paid. I did go to a private school, not a big one, a small one though, so that should also indicate to you finances. um, yeah, but we lived a comfortable life. We weren't worried about like basic needs, if that makes sense. But at the same time, we weren't like vacationing every year and that kind of stuff. So, as a bit of a gauge. So my mom passed away when I was younger, and she did have a life policy and like pension and those kind of things. So at that point in time, what she had left to me in her life policy got paid out. So then I put that in just like an interest bearing account, like those fixed deposit type accounts, and it just stayed there for years and years and years. And then when I was in university, I don't know where. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where this feeling within me originated from. But I just thought, okay, I think I want to take that money and use it to invest in property. So in 2016, my final year of university, I bought a property, but the property that I bought was a one bedroom apartment, and I didn't have enough in the cash that was left to me. I didn't have enough to afford that apartment fully cash. So I asked my dad to help me. So we bought the apartment together. So basically, I was just using him for his credit score, which I really appreciate. I'm really grateful that he agreed to that. So we bought it together, and based off of his credit score, because I didn't have any, we got like a decent rate, and then I was the one who was responsible for paying off the loan. And then I received the rent from the property, and then because I had access to that money, I just decided to put all that money into the property that I had. Cool. So now I graduated in 2016, and then I started working in 2017, and I do work for a financial institution. So part of our benefits do include benefits around lending rates. So then as soon as I was eligible then I decided to get my second property. And what is nice about the bank that I work at, they have this product where you can use the rental that you'll receive from the property that you're buying in order to boost up your affordability, because especially if there's already a tenant in there and the real estate agent knows the rates and the rental that's being earned, then they can use that. So I did that. 2017 I got my second property. And so also keep in mind, during this time I was living at home with minimal expenses, so that also plays a big role, because I mean, most of you, if we're all adults on this channel, we know adult life is expensive, so keep that in mind. That's very important to keep in mind. And then, so yeah, 2017, I have 2 properties now, and I'm paying them off, and I'm living at home. And then 2018, I got my 3rd property. So at this stage, I was thinking, okay, considering the properties that I'm getting, which are like 1 bedroom apartments, and the actual amount of them is less than $500,000. So I was able to pay off these loans relatively quickly because I was actually taking any free money that I had, I was putting it into my loans. I'll link some videos on my mortgage payment strategies. And so, yeah, so by the time I wanted to look for my third property, I knew that I had enough that by the time this third property was registered, that I could pay off one of my loans completely. And also keep in mind, as I'm adding on these loans, I'm including the rental as into my affordability, right? Then I got my third property, and then at this stage I had 3 properties but only 2 bonds. And the way that it was, it worked pretty well. So I knew going into the future, this was the method that I wanted to use to just build up my property portfolio. And it's just I wanted it. And as you're getting more properties, you getting more revenues, so you're able to pay off loans faster. So it was really an avalanche in my favor. And then 2019, I wanted my 4th property. I wanted to get my 4th property. And so also at this stage, I was close enough to finishing my 2nd bond that I knew by the time the 4th one registered, I'd have 2 that are fully paid off and then 2 which are on bond. And that's exactly how it worked out. So we kept doing that. So now I was at this point where things were ramping up, and also on my side I wanted to just ramp things up further. And because at this stage I had my 4 properties, also I had already started one of my businesses at the time. So with that income coming in, I thought, okay, maybe it's time to take things up a notch. So in 2020, I bought 2 properties. Yes, in 2020 I bought 2 properties. So in 2020 now, I had enough left on my 3rd bond that I knew by the time my 5th property was registered, I was going to be able to pay the 3rd bond off completely. So that worked out. But the 5th property I bought like around the beginning of when lockdown was starting, and like the pandemic was already fully understood to exist. And so then by that time, beginning of that year, like the first half of that year, I had 5 properties, 3 of them paid off, 2 of them on bond. So when I first started my property journey, I knew that I did not want to buy a property that I was actually going to live in until I at least had 5 rental properties. So now 2020, I've reached that point where I got 5 rental properties. But then at the same time, I was learning a lot more about the different types of properties, and I knew just in terms of how I want to live, I wanted the place where I was going to live, I wanted it to be in a house. I wanted it to have like a decent amount of land on it, because I love gardening and that kind of stuff. So I knew, am I gonna buy this house as my 6th property? Also keeping in mind that now we fully within a panorama, and so it's like, so like, you know, there's so many things that are up in the air, so many things that are not certain. But then me and my boyfriend, we were looking around, and then we found a house. We found a house that it's just amazing. So I'll give you the synopsis, but I'm going to make a full video on this. So we found a house that was in my dream neighborhood, large pieces of land, like stands, but it also had 2 cottages on it. So then we thought, okay, you know, actually this property can be a place where we live, but it can also be an investment property. So we got it. But I'll make a full video on how it works and, you know, yeah, why it financially makes sense to me as a person who uses property as an investment vehicle, because it's really hard to like wrap your head around buying property that's not going to make you any revenue, because like property is expensive. But anyway, so yeah, so by the end of 2020 I had 6 properties, and basically all of them were leased out, and I'm now at that point where we've just been weathering the pandemic and just trying to see like where we're going from this point forward. It's actually kind of crazy when you put this all down on paper to see where things have come. I didn't start off. I didn't come from abject poverty. My parents did. My parents were the first graduates of their families. So I'm like a second generation of what a lot of people are trying to do now. Like, you know, if you understand what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I just wanted to put my story out there, put my journey out there, so that you can see how if you just get on that ladder and you plan things accordingly and you line up your funds and your cash flows, that you can really ramp this up quite quickly. I mean, the pandemic has put some things on hold because it's just been so up and down lately. But yeah, but it's possible. But it is possible, and I'm looking forward to the property journey going forward, because I know because of the pandemic I'm changing my strategy. Before I used to say that I would never sell, but that's no longer something I'm opposed to. But yeah, I just wanted to put my story out there so that you guys can see how step by step we really all can get there. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I will be bringing out a lot of videos to you guys soon, which I'm really excited about, because there's so much to talk about, especially in terms of investment, property, and business. A lot of us have been put in a position where we need to make alternative plans. Okay, we need numerous streams of income. Okay, because we've learned better than any other year has ever taught us. Well, at least my generation, because the biggest stuff that happened, I wasn't alive for it, or at least I wasn't cognizant for it. A lot of shit could happen. Like, life is so unpredictable. And so with that in mind, and with that experience at the forefront of these past 2 years, I'll be doing a lot of changing, especially in terms of my strategy on how I will be building wealth for myself and also for the generations after me. But yeah, I will see you in my next video.